Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another legal breaking reporting video analysis update. We have a urgent update as it relates to Oregon ETAL v. Trump Oregon ETAL. The case that Judge Immergut issued not one, but two temporary restraining orders. One, prohibiting Trump from outright deploying Oregon troops to Portland, Oregon. Two, the second one, outright denying the deployment of Texas and Illinois National Guardsmen to Oregon, or any other National Guard to Oregon. Let's get into this reporting by Democracy Docket. Ladies and gentlemen, the article is titled Ninth Circuit Restores Block on Trump's Portland National Guard Deployment. Ladies and gentlemen, the article is titled, the article reads, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals voted to restore, we're here. President Donald Trump's Portland National Guard case Tuesday, a step that vacates an earlier ruling that allowed Trump to federalize Oregon's troops and deploy them against local protests. Chief Judge Mary Murguia, MURGUIA, ladies and gentlemen, appointed by former President Barack Obama, announced the decision, starting that upon the vote of a majority of non-recused active judges, it is ordered that this case be reheard in banc. The order explicitly dismisses the extreme panel opinion that had sided with Trump. The immediate effect is sweeping as Trump's claimed authority to seize 200 members of the National Guard is suspended once again. The court's injunction, issued by U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut, on October 4, now stands, barring any deployment while the full appeals court reconsiders the case. Immergut, a Trump appointee, had ruled that the president's attempted call-up violated Oregon sovereignty and lacked any factual or legal basis. She found Trump's justification that Portland was war-ravaged and untethered, and under siege, ladies and gentlemen, by domestic terrorists was false and dangerously detached from any conditions on the ground. The president's determination was simply untethered to the facts. Emmergut wrote in her opinion earlier this month. The earlier panel ruling by Trump-appointed judges Bridget Bade and Ryan Nelson has drawn intense criticism from vastly expanding presidential powers to use the military within the United States. Elizabeth Goitein, Goitein, ladies and gentlemen, a senior director at the Brennan Center for Justice, previously called that panel's decision one of the most dangerous and legally flawed court decisions I've seen this year. It is hard to overstate how misguided and dangerous the ruling is. Goitein, Goitein, said, even where protests involve acts of violence, deploying the military is illegal unless that violence reaches a level where state and local law enforcement are completely overwhelmed. With the panel opinion now vacated, Emmergut's courtroom once again becomes the center of the fight over Trump's emergency powers. The judge is set to begin a fact-finding trial Wednesday to evaluate what was actually happening in Portland, when, ladies and gentlemen, Trump attempted to federalize the Guard. The Ninth Circuit Court's banc process is unique. Instead of all 29 active judges, an 11-judge panel, the chief judge plus 10 elected at random, will rehear the case. The court's decision to take it up, however, is a significant, a signal that a majority of active judges found the issue serious enough to warrant full review. For now, Trump's order federalizing the National Guard remains blocked. Emmergut warned from her earlier opinion, once again, governors. This court has a long-standing and foundation tradition of resistance to government overreach, especially in the form of military intrusion into civil affairs. She wrote, "This historical tradition boils down to a simple proposition This is a nation of constitutional law, not martial law. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this legal breaking reporting video analysis update. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting and video analysis update, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy for more. And I will look forward to talking to you guys in my next legal breaking reporting video analysis update.